Welcome, dear guests, and hide your fright, for today we shall be building a truly haunting ride. I've been having a lot of fun with these wands. No, for real, if you've missed it, I made a short where I showed off that I made this wand over here. It's a bubble wand. Look what it does. Ooh, bubbles. But shenanigans aside, we are actually going to be building a haunted ride. In fact, I think a whole bunch of you already know what sort of thing it's going to be, because I made a trailer for it that I've uploaded last week. Now, if we are building a haunted ride, there is a big decision that we need to make. Because if this ride is haunted, it's gotta be sort of scary, and it turns out there are sort of two kinds of scary, and we need to pick one of them. Now, the first kind of scary is the horror kind of scary. It's the jump scare kind of scary. It's where randomly doors open and you get greeted by something that really makes you jump for a moment, right? It's also sometimes very gross, that kind of scary. I don't really like that kind of scary. Let's get rid of it. Now, the other kind of scary is over the top kind of scary. It's where things are so incredibly scary that they're just really not scary anymore, but rather they are funny. One of my favorite examples is how Disney does it in their Haunted Mansion, right? They've got terrible jokes, and then they've got statues singing in the graveyard, and they've got crystal balls with heads in them, and it's kind of over the top. It's kind of funny if you really think about it. It's not that scary. In my opinion, a lot more fun, and that is the one that I want to work on. Now, I didn't just want to build a Haunted Mansion. I wanted to go something different. I feel like the concept of haunted mansions has kind of been explored a little bit. I was thinking shipwrecks, and after that I very quickly got to pirates, and as you may or may not know, I kind of like pirates. And so we're doing a ride about a pirate. And to those of you that saw the trailer, you already knew that, of course. Also, I don't know what I'm doing here. The ships that I built in the trailer, I didn't actually build myself. Now, where do we want this? Do we want to place it like that? I think that's kind of alright. Maybe position it a little bit differently. Maybe put it somewhere over there. Now, you see the ship that I used in the trailer was actually one of Minecraft's default ships. Look. And then I changed all the wood to different woods. Now I hear you ask, but Percy, why'd you do that? That seems kind of lazy. To which I say, well, if you've watched me build any of these rides, you should know by now that I'm kind of lazy. Just how I placed all those fences should be a really good example. And so now it's time for me to turn this ship into the Rosalinda by simply running this command. I hadn't tested that. I was very scared. I seem to have missed something over here, but other than that, this is pretty good. Now we've got the Rosalinda in my world. Cool, isn't it? Let's get some sails in over here and over there as well, of course. And there you go. I think it's kind of alright. That's a Rosalinda over there, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we have a place where we can work. Now, something you may also know if you've been watching this series is that every single one of these rides holds a technical challenge that I've tackled. And for this ride over here, that's going to be a pre-show. I want to have a pre-show. And now you can kind of see why I gave it a trailer. Now I want people to be able to come in this ride, and when it starts, the video plays with audio and everything in Minecraft, which I looked into that. That is very difficult indeed, but not impossible. And then once the pre-show is ended, whoop, the ride goes off. And I think that would be so cool. And so now you start wondering, but Percy, how do you get a video in Minecraft? To which I first thought the answer was paintings. Ooh, that's a nice one. I sort of figured we could just animate paintings, but then I realized that that's never going to work, because then I cannot control when it starts and when it ends, and every single player will have their painting start at a different time, which is definitely not going to work. This is the painting, by the way, in my face. So, boop, that's off. There is another thing we can do. We can use the maps. See, if we right-click a map right now, it is going to generate an image of the park. Oh, and look how perfectly centered the ship is. Wow. But technically what we're looking at is an image, right? And we can manipulate the image. We can make this any image we like. And again, that's difficult, but not impossible. Now, this is where we're going to get just a little bit technical. If I hover over the map, you can see it says map, and then it says #0. This is the 0th map that I've created, which is a fancy way of saying it's the very first map that I've created. And when I created it just now, Minecraft saved this image that we're looking at to the world folder, to our saves folder. And then if we open that map, we get this. Yeah, That is something we can work with, isn't it? But I found this tool over here that will convert an image into a file that we can use. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking a frame from the trailer and making it square so that it fits on the map. And then I'm dragging and dropping that frame into this tool. Now over here I need to fill in how many maps I've already created, and we just saw that the number was 0, and so we fill in 0 over here, and then I create the file. And this is now ready for download. That was really very fast. And then I very simply replace the map in my world with this one that's just been created. And now if I log back into my world, we should see that there you go. We have now a frame in Minecraft. That's cool, isn't it? And now, of course, a map can be put in an item frame. There you go. And we kind of got a television over here. Because if we put every single frame from the video into that online tool that I just used, we can make it move and essentially have it be a video. Unfortunately, there are several problems with this plan. First of all, Minecraft runs only 20 times a second, which means the maximum frame rate for this video is 20 frames per second. The other problem is that the entire video is 2 minutes 41 seconds or 161 seconds, and 20 frames in 161 seconds results in 3,220 frames, which I'd all have to manually upload into that tool. The tool unfortunately does not have a bulk export option. It just doesn't seem very feasible going through that process 3,220 times. And so of course what we can do is lower the frame rate that we use. Let's say we do it 10 frames a second. Of course you'll get a number like 1,610, which is still a lot. What I'm trying to say is converting the entire video into this maps format that we can use is just really not feasible. Which kind of means that we need to look into alternatives, and there is actually one. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And the alternative is to not have all the frames in the video, but just a bunch of them every time we change the shot. And so we'll start off with, for example, an image of the ship over here, and then it cycles to the next one, which is an image where we see this ship being a little bit wrecked and ending up on the shore. And so this way we don't have to go through nearly as much trouble, but we still get sort of a video in Minecraft. Meh, it's something I'll settle for. If at some point there is a tool available that will let me convert these maps in bulk, then I'll definitely do that. But for now, this is what we're selling with. And there we go. These are all the frames that I picked out, plus a spare one. But look, this is kind of cool, isn't it? All in all, I'm pretty happy with this. Now we need to make a way for it to show all these maps in order, rather than in a long line like this. And you know, this is where we're getting serious, because the command blocks are coming out. First of all, I'd like to see if we can summon an item frame. And it looks like we can. That's not how I want it though. 5 should be on the wall here. There you go. I am genuinely not sure if this will do something. Probably not. Nope, it didn't do anything. Will this do something? Wow. It's not doing anything. Oh, I know exactly. Haha. There you go. Okay, look, we can change it now. If we change this number, we get a different frame. Look at that. Okay, brilliant. Cool. I'm not actually sure if you can hear it through the microphone, but the gears in my brain, they are spinning. In the meantime, there is actually something else that we kind of need to take care of here. We may have video, but this is kind of a silent film. I do want the audio to come with it as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can add audio to resource packs, and so we should probably figure out how to do that. Alright, I did some digging and I figured it out. And I've put it in this command, and I'm about to push the button to see if it works. Though it might sound a little startling, you're going to hear my voice a second time, but you know, in the audio file. Let's see. Once in the and it works. Piracy, there was a it's working. Sailed by the infamous. Let's stop it for now though. Something funny that we can do, by the way, with the play sound command is this number over here is the pitch. And so if we change that to something really high, we get something that sounds like this. Once in the golden age of piracy, there was a ship sailed by the infamous pirate Captain Roberts. So I'm currently in the process of setting up the quote-unquote TV to show all these different frames. And for this I wrote a little function, and I don't know what it's going to do, and it is kind of doing exactly what I needed it to. So that's good. Yay! And I mean, that looked a little bit weird. It went a little bit fast, but I haven't done the timing yet. I should now have got the timings right. So I'm going to test it, and hopefully it works. I'm not going to make you sit through it. Nor did it should switch. There you go. when he knocked on the door. Should switch. Should switch again.
Robert, a truly wicked
and there it is. It's the final frame.
You can't.
And then right after, it should just reset itself. There you go. Oh, it's brilliant. This is so good. I did not expect this to be this good. Now, all of this is really just a pre-show, but now that we've got it, it's time that we actually start making the ride. Kind of important, isn't it? Now, of course, if the ride has such a cool pre-show, the ride itself needs to be pretty cool as well. Why don't we start by making some really cool models in Blockbench? Woo! Now I struggled just a little bit with coming up what I wanted for this model. Obviously, I thought it'd be so cool if I could have the actual Rosalinda sail through the park like this. However, that didn't seem very feasible because Rosalinda is really very big, and I also sort of figured that visibility on the Rosalinda is kind of limited, right? You've got a mast in the way and all sorts of other decorations, so that was never going to work, unfortunately. So I sort of figure we can have a little tiny version, just a trimmed down version, get rid of the decorations, get rid of all the unimportant bits, have something that captures the essence of the Rosalinda. And so here you see me messing around with the shape, keeping it as simple as possible. And then for the texturing, really all that I did is make it the mangrove plank texture, or try to capture that anyway, and add a little bit of the spruce plank texture to it as well, because we do have a little bit of spruce on the Rosalinda. And so now I have both a pretty good shape for the boat and a really good texture, and so I'm actually ready to look at it in Minecraft now. Now let's go have a look at that, shall we? And nothing just happened. Why is that? It's because I didn't put in the command. Oh, there you go. Ooh, oh. Well, that looks kind of cool. Let's get rid of that for a moment. Oh, I want to see what happens if we sit in it. Okay, it's a little bit low down, but other than that, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Oh, I like it. I think it's kind of there right now. Oh, I like it. I love it. It's good. It's brilliant. It's perfectly what I need it to be. I forgot to do the texture on the top here. Whoops. Now it's got a little bit extra texture. That's pretty good. Okay, this is good. Now the ride itself, not counting the pre-show, is going to consist out of 3 elements, continuing the story of Captain Roberts. In the first segment, we will see how Captain Roberts continued his life as a pirate, not really caring much about the curse. The second segment is going to be a secret for now. Woo! And in the third and final segment, we will see Captain Roberts in death, as he still cannot find rest. It's not really a fun end for Captain Roberts. I am already spoiling that, but for us it'd be fun to see. And so without further ado, I think it's time that I start clean up some of these things and, work on the ride. Alright, as you can see, I've done a whole bunch of work. I moved the Rosalinda down and submerged her into water. I've made a plank so that you can get onto the ship, because what's a ride that you cannot get on? Not a very fun ride, that's for sure. Now, once you're on the ship, you will see you're sort of naturally guided over in this direction, where I have moved the pre-show. Now, after the pre-show, you can actually go over here, and when I have the ride in place, you will be able to start the ride here. Although what you could also do is go down here, where I've made an alternative path. Gives a little bit more of a vibe, And then you can go over here and then start the ride over here. Now you probably see me walk with a command block in my hands. That's because I've made these 2 command blocks, and these 2 command blocks will help me make more water over here. I've set these up so that if I have the tag W, it will fill a whole area around me with water. And then this one will only replace the grass blocks, and this one will replace the dirt. And of course, if you've been watching the series, you know this method fairly well. Let's see if it works. W. So now if I slowly lower myself, this thing is not working. Uh-oh. I did a boo-boo. Oh, it needs redstone. There you go. Now it should work. There it is. Look at that. And of course, it should really only replace the dirt and the grass, and so we don't get any accidental water spills in places that I don't need it, right? And then when we feel like we're done, we just remove the tag, and now we can walk around again and not wreck the whole world. Now, another thing that we can do to help decorate, as you can already see, I've made a mountain, and I'm trying to texture it, and the way I'm doing that is I'm sort of tossing the snowball at it, and then it will change the stone to deep slate. And over there, I already did it with cobblestone. It's kind of cool. Do have to aim a little bit though. Now, as you can see, I've been hard at work here, working on the ride. Now, what we've got over here is a scene where the Rosalinda, Captain Roberts' ship, it has taken down and defeated another random ship over here. Now, this is early on in the ride where we show that Captain Roberts is still very successful. But how do we show Captain Roberts, right? Well, here's something new that we're doing. Something I haven't done in any of the other rides. I think this should be cool. Nope, that's not working. Okay, good to know. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. There is our pirate. That's one of them anyway. Very good, very good. Now we need to position this guy a little bit. And one way we can easily do that is by having him up here. And this should teleport him straight towards me, which is exactly what it did. But this looks a little bit weird, isn't it? So it looks like we need to realign myself a little bit. Make sure it's exactly, well, close enough. Now what do we get? Okay. I do think we just want him a little bit higher though, don't we? There you go. Now we've got a pirate behind the helm over there. Look at that. Oh, I'm on fire. Now, of course, Captain Roberts. Where would Captain Roberts himself be? Well, what's a better place than on the pile of gold itself? And there we go. Let's have a look. Well, that is... I messed something up over here, but we can fix that. And there you go. There he is. Brilliant. And there you go. There's the entire scene. Isn't that cool? We've got characters in here now. Oh, I love it. May I present to you the Curse of the Rosalinda. As you can see, I've been doing a whole bunch of work, and actually the ride is done now, so let me give you a ride through. And throughout this ride through, of course, I'll talk a little bit about what I've done over here. Now, of course, the ride starts over here with a pre-show, but if you want to skip the pre-show because, for example, you've already seen the trailer, then feel free to click ahead to this timestamp over here, and that's where we start the ride. But for now, let us just start the pre-show. Once, in the golden age of piracy, there was a ship sailed by the infamous pirate Captain Roberts and his crew. Captain Roberts was a lucky captain, winning victory after victory, robbing ship after ship. He was greedy too, never turning down the opportunity to steal more gold. And while he won all of his battles, he didn't always come out unscathed, nor did his ship. One fateful day, the ship had sustained so much damage that Captain Roberts was forced to seek refuge on the nearest island. On his exploration of the island, Captain Roberts came upon a little hut. When he knocked on the door, he was greeted by the most beautiful woman in the world, and she introduced herself as Rosalinda, witch and protector of the island and its inhabitants. Where Captain Roberts had been very charmed by the witch's beauty, the witch was charmed by Roberts' charm, and they fell in love. Days went by in that little hut, but one day Roberts took Rosalinda for a walk on the beach. He led her to the ship where his crew had been hard at work repairing the ship, and it was now ready to set sail once again. Roberts told her that he'd renamed the ship to the Rosalinda, for the ship was as beautiful as she. But Rosalinda was furious. She was the protector of the island, and these pirates had ruthlessly chopped down trees and killed innocent animals while Roberts had distracted her. She felt betrayed and turned to Roberts. "You," she spat angrily, "I curse you. You shall never walk anything but the planks of this ship again. As for the ship," she continued, "no one on this ship shall find rest, not even in death, until this island has been restored." A truly wicked curse, if you ask me, for you can't restore trees that have been turned into planks, nor can you restore animals that have been eaten. No one on the Rosalinda will find rest ever again, and you, my dear guest, are currently on the Rosalinda. And then it resets itself. Pretty cool, huh? Now, when you've done the pre-show, of course, you can come down here and get all the good vibes from the ship. It's really cool, the gold and everything. But then over here, you can start the ride. So let's do that. Now this ride is one you can ride with only one person at a time, which is fine. Oh, look, there it goes. Now, if you're wondering how I did the path, this boat is following a little path over here. If you're wondering how I did that, I decided not to include it because I've shown that several times already. I recommend checking out the video where I made the wooden roller coaster. That one explains it really well, and it also goes into detail into some of the other things that we are about to see that I've also used in this ride over here. For example, you may notice that we go into this cave over here, and it's got a waterfall, which is scary, and woo, there you go. You may have noticed that the boat sort of tilts over. That's also in the video for the wooden roller coaster. So go check that one out if you want to know how I did this. Now over here, we are coming up on the very first scene. And this is on the Rosalinda, on the ship, where Captain Roberts and his crew are just having a drink. You may notice a fun little detail I put over there is Captain Roberts' hat. He's just hanging it up. He's just casually enjoying himself over there. Now continuing this cave over here, which is very dark and somewhat gloomy, we're coming upon the next scene. Now this scene you've already seen. This is the scene where the Rosalinda has taken down one of the ships. And I've put some of the pirates up here, right? You've seen me do that before. And it shows how Captain Roberts just doesn't really care much about the curse. As long as he stays on the ship, he's absolutely fine, right? So he's got all his crew just gathering all the gold, right? And he's getting rich. It's kind of what he wants. But then we get over here to a little dock where something crazy is about to happen. There you go. We are flying through the park. Now, let me tell you, when I knew that I wanted to do a haunted shipwreck ride, I knew I had to get the little boat flying through the park. It was an absolute must. Look at that. That's so cool, isn't it? Going through the roller coaster like that. Now, this part of the ride is supposed to represent just a crazy period that followed Captain Roberts and the curse. Right, he feels immortal because he knows he won't die, and he's absolutely going crazy, going on a rampage, gathering all the gold. But here we're getting towards the end. We see Captain Roberts, how even in death he cannot find rest. He's got all the gold, he's got everything that he wanted, but he's not happy, and he's sort of half dead because he cannot die, because he will not find rest. And that is the end of the ride. Now over here we just coming down a little waterfall. Whoop, goes a little bit fast. Now something I wanted to talk about still is you may notice in the water, it looks a little bit weird. You can see exactly what the path is. Now these are barrier blocks that I've got over here. And originally they were supposed to be temporary so that I can lay out the path and just walk over it and have just a really smooth, steady path. But I decided to keep them because they have these really... this kind of not quite right effect. And a lot of theme parks, like real life theme parks, they have like a rail or track or something that the cart goes over, and it makes it look not quite perfect. But I thought in this case it makes it kind of look like one of those rides. There is something there, you can see where you're going. It's not quite as immersive, but I figured that's exactly what I'm going for over here, making theme park rides. And that is the Curse of the Rosalinda. This was a very challenging one to make. Oh, but I enjoyed it so much. This is by far one of my favorite rides that I've made. I just absolutely love having a pre-show, having a whole proper story with this ride. Not all of these have a story, and definitely not like this one. I thought I did really, really well. I'm patting myself on the back there. There you go. It's not really possible in Minecraft, but I'm doing it. There you go. Now, I hope that you've enjoyed watching me build this ride just as much as I enjoyed building it. For now, I'm going to seal off, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye! Oh boy, how much I wish I could play a certain copyrighted pirate-themed song right now.